Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. Come out to Olympic Game Farm for some tender love and care. Now it's not impolite to stick out your tongue, considering the critters you'll be among. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. The llama and the yak know you want to come back, and the tiger always gets a few stares. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. You know when you see a bunch of asset classes selling off all at once that there's something going on. And today it is tech shares and gold that are both selling off. Traders dumping a broad range of tech shares amid worries over whether AI investments will actually pay off, and also fears about disruption. And gold is also falling, even though it's a safe haven. What's happening today is some traders are dumping metals to use the money to cover losses in stocks. And gold fell at one point as much as 4% earlier today. Lululemon facing its second see-through leggings issue in less than a month, with a version of the company's pants dubbed Heart Scatter. That's after the company's Get Low line was previously called out for similar problems. It was pulled from its website before being returned with added disclaimers. And in the food industry, Cheez-It Crackers releasing its first ever gluten-free variety. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Experience comfort at Angelus Furniture with IMG Comfort Furniture. Receive 10% off all orders and products in all sizes, colors, and models. Now through March 16th, take 10% off beautiful pieces like IMG Peak, Devani, Chelsea, and Verona models with all recliners, Power Plus, and swivel gliding. 10% off IMG Comfort Furniture, including quick ship and special order. Through March 16th, only at Angelus Furniture, 1113 East 1st Street.
It's the time of year to get your equipment serviced for the winter, and Leeds Farm Supply can get you taken care of. We service everything from mowers to tractors to handheld chainsaws and weed eaters. We have trained techs to take care of any machine from handhelds to large tractors. We have competitive pricing and a quick turnaround. Call us at 452-1400 and talk to Jeremiah to get your service taken care of. Leeds Farm Supply, your local farm and equipment dealer, and so much more. Located at 259110 Highway 101 in Sequim.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
And let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now, and that's where Steve's standing by. He's watching the roads for us this Thursday afternoon. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy afternoon out there again. If you are in the Port Angeles or Sequim area, you're going to find a fair amount of traffic right now making its way through town. No real slowdowns, just volume of cars right now. Overall, it shouldn't be too bad a commute for you, but just expect little slow spots in a few places, and you should be just fine. If you're on Highway 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim, you should be doing fine. It is busy out there, but traffic is moving along at the speed limit. Beyond the Sequim area, Hood Canal Bridge, currently good to go with nothing scheduled for marine openings. State Ferry is also running on time today. If you're looking out to the west end on 101 to the Forks area, we're in good shape out there. Roads are in good shape. Just kind of light to moderate traffic out there right at the speed limit. So everybody take care and enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Another update from you in about a half hour. Your weather forecast the rest of the day today going to be mostly sunny with a few scattered clouds here and there. Highs hitting into the low 50s. Clouding up more, though, by tonight and some rain rolling in. Lows overnight mid-30s to lower 40s. Cloudy and rainy through the day on Friday. Could see a couple of snowflakes mixed in. No snow accumulation is expected Friday afternoon, but just watch out for that. Highs for the most part will be in the 40s on Friday around here. Right now across the North Peninsula, Port Townsend down in the east end at 41, out west Forks now at 51. In Sequim, it's 50, and out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles now checking in at 48 degrees.
From ABC News Tech Trends, the next generation of the Toyota Highlander is going all electric.
In theory, this replaces the big family hauler.
EV journalist Chad Kirshner says the new Highlander maintains its 3-row seating with more of an emphasis on passenger space now.
They took away some of the cargo capacity with a third row up and put in more human space.
It gets Toyota's latest infotainment system as well,
which debuted in the RAV4. So faster processing, Google-based.
And between 270 and 320 miles of electric range, specs that are comparable to the Kia EV9 and Hyundai Ioniq 9, both also 3-rows. But unlike those cars, Kirshner says the Toyota will likely avoid high tariff rates.
It's built in Kentucky, and the batteries are going to be built in the U.S.
The electric Highlander launches as EV sales continue to slow. Toyota is keeping the Grand Highlander, which is a hybrid, in the lineup for now. With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
One of the most common reasons older adults end up in an emergency room is because they have a fall. And in many cases, a fall can lead to broken bones that require surgery or intense rehabilitation, especially if the patient has a disease called osteoporosis that causes bones to become thin and fragile. According to the experts at the American Medical Association, osteoporosis weakens bones and increases risk of fractures, particularly in seniors. Worldwide, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men older than 50 will have a bone fracture due to osteoporosis during their lifetime. Smokers and people with chronic kidney or liver disease are at especially high risk. Help preserve your bone density by eating foods that contain plenty of calcium and vitamin D. Make strength training a regular part of your routine. And visit your doctor for regular checkups and screening to help track your bone health and catch problems early. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
According to a recent Pew Research Center survey, a majority of parents of kids age 11 to 12 said their kid has a smartphone. Now that's younger than the prevailing science would suggest is a good idea. Their brains just haven't developed enough yet to handle social media and everything that comes with it. Yes, the peer pressure for you and your kids, that can be intense. That's why experts we talked to said it's important to broach this topic with other parents in your kids' class. Maybe you reach an agreement that everyone holds off. If you're concerned about being able to reach your son or daughter, consider getting them an old-school phone that can make calls and send text messages but not access the internet. Or a few of my friends have recently gotten their kids smartwatches. With these, they can also track their location. There are other options. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. One of the most serious problems we have in America today is that there are few standards or absolutes, and those we do have are under constant attack of elimination. I'll tell you that story after this important message. If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you. Ever wonder where the word deadline came from? It came from an old-time prison term used before they had high security fences around the prisons. So to keep the prisoners in, a visible line was drawn around the prison, and the inmates were told quite emphatically, cross that line and you'll be shot dead. Now that's a deadline. So today, keep telling yourself, keep believing there are no rules, no standards. Keep telling and teaching your children there are no absolutes, no real deadlines, no consequences, and see where that gets us in our nation. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
At Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, Mark Gustafson is precisely the professional you want helping your family during a time of loss.
Every morning when I get out of bed, I have one more opportunity to help a family in need that is grieving, that may be in a cloud, may not know what to do, where to go, who to talk to. And I'm here to help them through that and to be here every day for them.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Friendship and experience can be a real comfort.
When a loved one loses someone, it's a journey that they're going through. It's new territory, so to speak, and I'm able to be there to help them. And again, being hometown, I'm there with them all the way through it from start to finish.
Caring professionals when you need them most. Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel, 452-9701, and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, 683-5242.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Clallam County Commissioners Mike French and Randy Johnson, joined by Tim Havel and Bruce Emery from the Department of Community Development, breaking down updates to the county's comprehensive plan, and our Business Bits segment with Small Business Advisor Kevin Holt.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
If you like sitting around the porch or dinner table sharing stories with friends, that's what we like to do here at Our American Stories. I'm Lee Habib. We bring to you stories about American love, funny stories about first jobs, this day in history, American dreamers and marriages, and even the stories of music and acting legends. I invite you to sit around the porch with us as we share Our American Stories.
Weekdays from 8 to 10 p.m. and Sunday afternoons from 1 to 3.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The Trump administration is formally repealing an Obama-era scientific finding that greenhouse gases pose a public health threat. President Trump said today at the White House the climate rule, known as the endangerment finding, has no basis in fact.
And yet this radical rule became the legal foundation for the Green New Scam, one of the greatest scams in history, probably as great, maybe even greater than Russia hoax, etc., which the Obama and Biden administration used to destroy countless jobs. And the jobs have been just decimated. Although they're all coming back because of tariffs, they're all coming back into our country at levels we've never seen before.
The president told Israel's prime minister that the U.S. will continue its nuclear talks with Iran.
After meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu for more than 2 hours, the president said it was a very good meeting, but nothing definitive was reached. He wrote online that he insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. Netanyahu has long pushed for stronger U.S. action toward the Iranian regime, including a call for an end to all uranium enrichment. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Key senators and the families of the 67 people killed in that airliner collision with a helicopter last year near Reagan National Airport are pushing for advanced aircraft locator systems in airplanes. Commerce Committee Chairman Ted Cruz said at a hearing today that for years aviation safety has relied on what some people disparagingly call the Swiss cheese model to manage risk.
Layers upon layers of human intervention and technology are meant to close any vulnerabilities or figurative holes left by the previous layer. Unfortunately, just over 1 year ago, that safety system failed just 3 miles from here at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
More at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
At the Winter Olympic skeleton racer Vlad Haraskevich has been disqualified for wearing a banned tribute helmet portraying fellow Ukrainians killed in the war against Russia.
International Olympic Committee spokesperson Mark Adams says the IOC wants Haraskevich to have his moment, and it feels his grief over the war in Ukraine.
There are 130 conflicts going on in the world. You cannot have 130 different conflicts featured, however terrible they are. You cannot have them featured during the field of play, during the actual competition.
Haraskevich says the IOC's decision plays along with Russian propaganda. Haraskevich was among the fastest in training leading into the Olympic races. I'm Donna Warder.
Chloe Kim gets a turn today. She'll be in the halfpipe later. She tries to become the first snowboarder to win 3 straight Olympic gold medals. Breaking news at townhall.com. Google and Meta pushing back on addiction claims in a landmark social media trial that accuses them of making their products too addictive and harmful for children. Here's correspondent Lisa Dwyer.
At the core of a landmark social media case in Los Angeles is a 20-year-old identified only by the initials KGM. The plaintiff argues that Instagram owner Meta and Google's YouTube intentionally design addictive features that cause harm to children who use the products, comparing social media platforms to casinos and addictive drugs. An attorney representing YouTube and Google says that KGM's 5-year average watch time was 29 minutes per day and just 1 minute 14 seconds using the infinite scroll feature on YouTube Shorts, noting that that can be disabled or modified to match your user's preferences. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Thursday, February 12th. Clallam County Code Enforcement closed significantly more cases last year, but staff say limited resources and a complex legal process continue to limit how much more could be done. During a work session this week, county commissioners reviewed the county's fourth quarter code enforcement report. From October through December, staff closed 71 cases, bringing the 2025 total to 286. That's up from 170 cases closed in 2024. Now, much of that work involved junk vehicles. Code Enforcement Manager Diane Harvey says the county removed 49 junk vehicles from 14 properties in the fourth quarter and 165 vehicles countywide last year. That compares to 132 removed the year before.
We only have 1.5 code enforcement officers. We have thousands of junk vehicles in our county. If we were to actually do really active code enforcement on the junk vehicles, not voluntary junk vehicles, just the junk vehicles that we have in our county, you'd have to give me about 5 staff members, right? Because the process is very complicated under Chapter 19.
Staff told commissioners most removals involve cars and trucks, not RVs, and that progress is limited by that staffing. The county has 1.5 code enforcement officers, and each case requires multiple notices, site visits, and the opportunity for an appeal, a process designed to protect property rights. Despite that, staff said the program is now operating near capacity, closing about 70 cases per quarter after earlier staffing turnover slowed enforcement. The county also reported removing 25 tons of solid waste in 2025 through large property cleanups, often involving elderly residents, estates, or people facing financial or mental health challenges. And looking ahead, Harvey says code enforcement has set goals for 2026, including closing 200 cases, trying to remove 100 junk vehicles, completing 6 large cleanups, and exploring an amnesty program to help resolve long-standing building permit violations in the county. Well, hundreds of thousands of fans lined the streets of Seattle yesterday for the Super Bowl victory parade. One of them, Jeff Pogula.
Hundreds of thousands of Seahawks fans lining the streets of downtown, celebrating the Super Bowl victory over the New England Patriots. The last time the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, some 750,000 people attended the parade. This time, organizers were expecting closer to 1 million. Jeff Pogula, ABC News, Seattle.
Yeah, those fans hanging out well into the night after the parade, which was at noontime yesterday. More news after this.
The Panto is back at Olympic Theater Arts. Fractured fairy tales, audience interaction, and nonsensical fun combine into a perfect night of entertainment. In this year's Panto, help Little Red's granddaughter Bernie find herself and her courage to become her village's next protector in It's Not About the Hood. In classic Panto fashion, boo the villain, cheer the hero, and play in the banter of witty call and response. Logic and truth take a back seat while you laugh and cheer on the action of the Panto. Set in the intimate gathering hall, the show happens all around you, making you want to come back again and again. So get your tickets now. Panto's It's Not About the Hood, brought to you by Integrity Roofing and Olympic Theater Arts, runs February 6th through 22nd. Tickets are available online, over the phone, or better yet, come visit us at the theater. While you're at it, consider purchasing your 2026 tickets and becoming a member. Olympic Theater Arts, theater for your community, built by your community.
Hi, this is John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company. If you're interested in a metal roof, prices are going up across the country, but we receive volume discounts through the manufacturer, and we pass that savings on to you. Act now and call 360-208-2222. Financing is available.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
In other news, Democratic lawmakers in Washington advancing a bill to make it harder to challenge a voter's registration, saying organized efforts to remove voters from the rolls are increasing. The State House approved House Bill 1916 on a 58-38 party line vote yesterday. The measure would add new requirements for filing a challenge and making it a crime to knowingly submit false information. Supporters say baseless challenges can intimidate voters and discourage participation, especially among new registrants. Republicans argued the bill creates new obstacles for citizens trying to identify ineligible voters. The proposal follows a wave of challenges after the 2020 election. In 2022, a conservative-led effort in Thurston County submitted more than 1,000 names for review. The county auditor determined most were properly registered. Under the bill, challengers could only target voters in their own county and would have to send certified letters, use a state-issued form, and base claims on first-hand knowledge. County auditors would gain broader authority to reject meritless challenges, and hearings would require probable cause. A similar measure stalled last year. This version now moves to the Senate. Protecting kids, that's the focus of a bill that just passed the state Senate unanimously. Tracy Ellis tells us more.
Senator Judy Warnick's legislation calls for a review of how child welfare cases are screened.
Assessment of Department of Children, Youth and Families, use of screening tools regarding referrals.
She points out that while fewer cases are being filed, serious incidents are on the rise. The question, do the tools DCYF uses really keep kids safe?
This will look at some of the issues that we may have had in child welfare processes in the past.
Warnick says this is about accountability, safety, and making sure every child gets the care they deserve. In Olympia, I'm Tracy Ellis.
A bill some lawmakers are calling compassionate cannabis took a big step toward becoming law this week in Olympia. Dan Frizzell tells us more on that.
As the sponsor, Representative Shelley Kloba says, it's a simple bill inspired by the frustrating experience of a terminally ill constituent in her legislative district. Kloba's House Bill 2152 is intended to ease the final days of qualifying patients in Washington hospitals and other medical facilities. It says if a patient wants to forego fentanyl or other mind-fogging drugs as their death approaches and instead chooses cannabis-based medicines to ease their pain, the facility has to respect that choice. Here's Kloba on the House floor.
This bill is pretty simple. It basically requires that hospitals allow a qualified patient with a terminal condition to utilize medical cannabis in an institutional setting, so nursing home, hospital, hospice care center, in order to have the kind of comfort and dignity at the end of their life that they deserve.
Kloba, a Democrat from Kenmore, saw her compassionate cannabis bill clear the House with a wide bipartisan margin Tuesday afternoon. It now moves to the Senate for further consideration. In Olympia, Dan Frizzell.
A bill to modernize the state's privacy office and strengthen oversight of artificial intelligence has passed the State House with some strong bipartisan support. John Satgast fills us in.
Representative Stephanie Bernard's bill would update how the state protects personal data as artificial intelligence rapidly expands in government operations. House Bill 2606 modernizes the Office of Privacy and Data Protection, eliminates duplicative work among agencies, and adds oversight of AI projects involving sensitive personal information.
It's evolving now at lightning speed. We're trying to use tools to protect our personal data for all Washingtonians, and that's what the Office of Privacy and Data Protection does.
Bernard says state law must keep pace with technology to ensure privacy protections remain strong as agencies adopt AI tools.
We can't use the 2016 playbook to solve the problems of 2026.
The measure passed the House on an 89-6 vote, and it now moves to the Senate for further consideration. John Satgast, the state capitol.
This is News Radio KONP.
Bathfitter is celebrating over 42,000 installations in Western Washington. That's 42,000 bathrooms made safer, cleaner, and more stylish. Bathfitter is celebrating by offering 0 interest and 0 payments for up to 1 year. Custom fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day with complete removal of your old setup backed by a lifetime warranty. Visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. Hurry, this special offer won't last.
Hey friends, Pepper here, host of the Afternoon News. We have a new feature this winter for anyone who likes to play in the snow up at Hurricane Ridge. Each Friday afternoon, listen for the Above the Gate Weekend Ski Report. Get up-to-the-minute details on the weather forecast up top, snow conditions, and special events. The Above the Gate Weekend Ski Report. Fridays at 4:45 and 5:45. Presented by Mighty Pine Brewing and Angelus Tap Room.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 49. Winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain tonight, lows dip down to about 38. Cloudy skies expected. Rain likely tomorrow. Highs level off around 46. Cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 44 Saturday, with a slight chance of rain. 43, mainly clear skies Sunday. A peek at the extended shows, 43 Monday, 44 Tuesday, and 45 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 48.
Robert Workman's take on sports is next.
At the Winter Olympics in Italy, another 5-medal day for Team USA, including a pair of golds. Elizabeth Lemley in the women's freestyle skiing moguls.
It's unreal. It hasn't quite hit me yet, but I'm sure it will soon.
And Jordan Stolz set an Olympic record in the 1,000-meter speed skating.
It means a lot. I've been training the last 4 years since the last Olympics, and you only get one shot to be able to win gold in the 1,000. So I was able to do that.
The U.S. also earned silvers in the women's moguls, men's Super G skiing, and ice dancing, where 3-time reigning world champions Madison Chock and Evan Bates were edged out by a French pair. The U.S. now has 12 medals. That's just one behind the co-leaders, Norway and Italy. NBA, the Thunder rolled over the Suns 136-109. That's 42 wins for OKC, the first team to ensure a winning record for the season, with one game to play before the All-Star break. Pistons hit the 40-win mark with a 113-95 victory over the Raptors. Nuggets got a triple-double from All-Star Nikola Jokic as they topped the Grizzlies. Jazz bopped the Kings. That's Sacramento's 14th straight loss. College hoops, number 2 Michigan rallied from down 16 to win at Northwestern. The Wolverines are now 23-1. 6th-ranked Connecticut improved to 23-2 with a 10-point win at Butler. And the 68th Daytona 500 comes up on Sunday. Front row qualifying last night, Kyle Busch, who has never won the Great American Race in 20 tries, will start from the pole on Sunday. Chase Briscoe, who had that spot last year, will be next to him on the front row. Tonight, the twin 150 duels will set the rest of the field. William Byron is the 2-time defending champ. That's Thursday Sports.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Clallam County Commissioners Mike French and Randy Johnson, joined by Tim Havel and Bruce Emery from the Department of Community Development, breaking down updates to the county's comprehensive plan, and our Business Bits segment with Small Business Advisor Kevin Holt.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Hi folks, this is Courtney from Lavender Meadows. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair, an event dedicated to caring for the heart in all the ways that truly matter. On February 14th, we're bringing together an inspiring local businesses and knowledgeable guest speakers who are passionate about heart health, from movement and mindfulness to nourishment and health. This is a free event for your health. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair from 11 to 3, February 14th at Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are taking a beating on worries about higher costs for tech companies. And also, there's a reading coming out tomorrow on inflation. Cisco Systems shares among those taking a hit after disappointing investors. Another setback, meantime, for the struggling housing market. Existing home sales in January fell by the most in nearly 4 years. Meantime, some good news could be ahead. Average long-term mortgage rates edging lower for the first time in a month to just 6.09%, according to Freddie Mac. Ford says it plans to put out 5 new vehicles by the end of this decade, all priced under $40,000. McDonald's shares bucking the trend and trading higher today on stronger than expected sales thanks to its $5 value meals. McDonald's also planning to introduce new beverages this year under the McCafe brand as it phases out the Cosmics concept. McDonald's plans to offer drinks including indulgent coffees, refreshers, energy beverages, and crafted sodas. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check on the traffic next.
Do you have a few lumps and bumps that need attention? You know, those things like skin lesions, cysts, or even that pesky hernia? Our experienced general surgeons at Olympic Medical Center can handle them. We offer convenient, expert care right here at home for your major and minor surgical needs. Get those lumps and bumps taken care of quickly and expertly. Minor procedures can often happen in the comfort of the office. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/surgery.
Sensitive to dust, mold, or allergens? You can breathe easier at McCrory Carpet One thanks to their Healthier Living installation system that features cleaner installation practices. Their HEPA vacuum system removes the old dust, and a Heathinex antimicrobial treatment is used before they install your new floor. If it's new carpeting in your home, they include their hypoallergenic premium cushion that inhibits the growth of mold and mildew. Best of all, there's no extra charge for this healthier install, only at McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP, Traffic and Roads.
One last time this hour up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go, and that is where Steve's standing by watching the roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good out there considering it's fairly busy. If you're in Port Angeles or Sequim area, you're going to find a fair amount of traffic right now making its way through town. Just volume of cars right now. And really not causing too much of a slowdown overall. Yeah, we're doing pretty good out there. If you're on the highway between the two cities, no real problems there. It is busy, but vehicles moving along at the speed limit. If you're headed beyond the Sequim area right now, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings so far this afternoon, and the State Ferry is running on time today. West End traffic, 101 headed out to the Forks area. We're in good shape. No real problems out there. Traffic is moving right along at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thank you, Steve. Your weather forecast calls for the sun to kind of continue, at least a mix of sun and some clouds today. Highs low 50s. Clouding up, though, by tonight. Some rain overnight into tomorrow. Mid-30s to low 40s overnight. Then rainy through the day on Friday. Might even see a couple of snowflakes mixed in late in the day. Highs for the most part on Friday will be in the 40s. So right now across the North Olympic Peninsula, Port Townsend in the East End at 42. Out west at Forks, they're at 50. In Sequim, it's also 50. And out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles, now 48 degrees at last check. Well, the death of actor James Van Der Beek from colorectal cancer is now raising awareness and questions about the disease. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
Colorectal cancer affects the lower intestine and is the second most common cancer in both men and women. About 160,000 people are expected to be diagnosed this year, with more than 55,000 annual deaths. One major concern, more people under 50 are being diagnosed. Belly pain and fatigue are symptoms, as well as a change in bowel habits, blood in your stool, and weight loss. Doctors emphasize the importance of diet and exercise, but say there's no known cause of colorectal cancer.
All right, a new study suggests some people are literally in love with their favorite possessions, giving more time, money, and affection to them than they do to other people. The study out of Arizona State University evaluated the phenomenon of material possession love. The researchers interviewed car, gun, computer, and bicycle enthusiasts about their favorite things, and researchers found that in many cases, consumers became emotionally attached to their possessions as real substitutes in what resembled a human relationship. And here's a term for you. Are you a sofa Eskimo? Learn the term for layering up to cut down on heating bills. Yeah, and 60% of people do that. So you're a sofa Eskimo. Let's dive into the world of technology next. It's Kim Commando's Consumer Tech Minute.
Every single day, people ask AI about legal issues, their health, love life, politics, car trouble, literally everything you can imagine. And to a large degree, AI does give reliable advice. But if you're using it for financial advice, you're also asking for big trouble. I'm Kim Commando for LinkedIn. For small businesses, every hire matters. Get $100 off your first job post with LinkedIn Hiring Pro at linkedin.com/Kim. The Wall Street Journal quotes Dr. Andrew Lo, an MIT Sloan School of Management professor. He found ChatGPT, Gemini, and all the others are unsuitable for financial advice because real-life financial advisors are known as fiduciaries. They have a legal obligation to put you first and their profits second. Still, 2/3 of us ask chatbots for financial guidance, and more than half admit they've made a bad money move because of it. AI bots are completely devoid of empathy. People who are like that, well, we call them psychopaths. Join almost 1 million folks who get my free newsletter every day. You're going to love it at getkim.com. For small businesses, every single hire matters. But finding the right person can take time and energy you just don't have. That's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro comes in. It's like having a smart hiring partner that helps you focus on the candidates who are a great fit, so you can hire with confidence. I know firsthand how time-consuming hiring can be. You're running a business, wearing a dozen hats, and you're sorting through countless applications, trying to spot that right person. Posting a job is easy. It's the finding, connecting, and screening applicants that you don't have time for. LinkedIn Hiring Pro handles it all for you, writing the job description, finding top candidates, even conducting AI-powered first interviews. Forget digging through countless resumes. Hire right the first time. Post your first job and get $100 off your job post at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. This is a total game changer. Don't miss out. Post your first job and get $100 off right now at linkedin.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, if you're trying to get in shape, what should you do first? Strength training or cardio? We'll answer the age-old question next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Deep discounts on home updates are arriving at Macy's stores right now. Come in for huge President's Day deals, like 20 to 65% off a total bedroom refresh. Think Sealy and Beauty Rest mattresses, warm, cozy comforter sets, and so much more, all for up to 65% off. And then you can splurge on something extra fun, like 30% off a new pair of Levi's. See you at Macy's President's Day sale today. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
So when it comes to exercise, which should you do first? Strength training or cardio? Experts say go ahead and start with a little cardio to warm up, but not too much. Only do about 5 to 10 minutes of low to moderate intensity cardio, because if you do more than that, it will fatigue your muscles too much before you pick up your dumbbells. According to a study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, experts found that exercisers did fewer reps if they had just run or cycled. So if strength is your goal, warm up, do your strength workout, then finish with more cardio. And keep this rule in mind, If you do circuit training where you go from machine to machine, switch it up every time because research shows, don't miss this, people can do more repetitions of the first strength exercise performed than all the other movements after that. John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Are you thinking about a new roof, siding, or windows for your home? Give Tri-State a call. Tri-State installs GAF roofing products, James Hardy siding, and Pella replacement windows. And right now, Tri-State is offering huge savings. The first step is a free estimate. Call 360-208-2222 or visit tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Swain's has everything, and as we know, that always includes a fantastic sale. The President's Day sale, going on now, is filled with savings even the smallest budgets will love. Check out a must-have in this muddy, wet weather, a Northwest boot scrubber. It's only $16.87. All women's silver jeans are 20% off, and all women's and kids' gloves are 30% off. Stay warm with savings on men's thermal hood zip sweatshirts, all only $14.87 each. These deals and so many more at Swain's General Store.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angela Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Nearly a generation of federal EPA regulations that drove climate policy are being repealed by the Trump administration. President Trump and the head of the EPA making that announcement today to roll back the 2009 endangerment finding. Here's ABC's Selena Wang with more.
So what does it mean to do away with this determination? Well, it means that this administration, that the federal government is not going to be regulating key pollution sources as they have been for the last 17 years.
Former President Barack Obama, in a post on X, criticized the Trump administration's repeal of that endangerment finding, saying that the repealing threatens the safety and health of Americans. The change also likely to face legal hurdles. Border Czar Tom Homan says the surge of federal immigration agents in Minnesota has ended, but operations continue, he says, to apprehend criminals in coordination with state and local officials. In Arizona, investigators arrived at Nancy Guthrie's home again today, putting up a white tent briefly at her front door in their search for clues. The Pima County Sheriff's Department also requesting neighbors to provide ring video footage from January 1st through February 2nd in connection with the case. It's now been 12 days since police say the 84-year-old was kidnapped from her home. ABC's Aaron Kotursky is in Tucson.
Investigators are now asking people in this neighborhood to check their home security cameras for footage from the evening of January 11th and the morning of January 31st. That's the day before it's believed Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home here. The investigators may have more to go on than they're letting on publicly. At least that's the hope.
In a new report, the New York Federal Reserve Bank showing American businesses and consumers paid 90% of the Trump tariffs last year. It comes as the Supreme Court is weighing a ruling if the president has overstepped his authority to issue tariffs without Congress. On Wall Street, stocks ending down. You're listening to ABC News.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Testimony resumes Friday in the landmark social media trial taking place in Los Angeles. The plaintiff in the case, who is now 20 years old, is accusing social media giants of creating platforms that get kids hooked. ABC's Trevor Ault is in L.A.
This is social media literally on trial. Platforms like Instagram and YouTube accused of being harmful to children and designed to be addictive. On Wednesday, Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri testified for nearly 6 hours. He said Instagram was not clinically addictive, addictive, and that the platform is always trying to be as safe as possible while also censoring as little as possible. And that does mean there is a trade-off between safety and speech.
Meta CEO's Mark Zuckerberg expected to take the stand next week. At the Milan Cortina Olympics, Ukrainian Olympian and skeleton athlete Vladislav Haraskevich was banned by the International Olympic Committee today after insisting on wearing a helmet honoring fellow athletes killed in the war with Russia.
We know that the IOC president tried to have a last-ditch meeting with him, emerged from that meeting in tears after he still declined not to wear the helmet. We've heard also today from President Zelensky calling him a hero and awarding Haraskevich with a Medal of Freedom, saying that also the IOC cannot permit amnesia around the war in Ukraine.
ABC's Patrick Reevell. Russia launching fresh drone attacks across Ukraine today. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
As each season changes, one thing stays the same. Airport Garden Center is always here to help your yard and garden grow. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operation continues with Mark and Betsy Matthews passionately managing the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service, products, and expert advice for a fun, rewarding, pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. We love helping you plan next season by offering monthly special savings too. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials and seasonal classes and events, or just stop on by our spacious indoor-outdoor garden center on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles to chat with the experts. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Clallam County Code Enforcement closed significantly more cases last year, but staff say limited resources and a complex legal process continue to cap how much more can be done. Clallam County commissioners were told 286 cases were closed last year, up from 170 in 2024, with much of the work focused on junk vehicles. The county removed 165 vehicles and hauled away 25 tons of solid waste, often from properties tied to estates or residents facing health or financial challenges. But staffing remains limited to just 1.5 enforcement officers for the county now.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 49. Winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight, lows dip down to about 38. Cloudy skies expected. Rain likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 46. Overcast skies. Daytime highs approaching 44 Saturday, with a slight chance for rain. 43 mainly sunny Sunday. Looking at the long range, 43 Monday, 44 Tuesday, and 45 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 48.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
And welcome once again to the show. Going to talk a little bit about comprehensive planning and things related as well. We've got a couple of folks from Clallam County joining us. One very much engaged in this, and that's Bruce Emery. He's Director of Community Development. Bruce, good to have you back again. Thanks
Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon.
Yeah. And Mike French from the County Commissioners is here as well. Good to see you as well, Mike. Thanks for coming in. And we're going to dive right into this comp plan thing. I was talking before we went on the air. I said, now, what's your status on this? Because as I recall, the update was due at the end of last year, but it's not done yet.
No, it is not.
Right.
We're still working on it. It's kind of in the final stages of review with our Planning Commission. They will be holding one more public hearing date next week, Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock at the commissioners' meeting room at the courthouse. And they've been spending time since the first hearing was on November 5th of 2025. So it's a little over 2 months into it, and they're pretty much wrapping up. We're getting to the point. We also issued our SEPA, State Environmental Policy Act threshold determination earlier this week, which it's fine. The changes There's a lot of text changes, not a lot in the way of maps, or even for that part, regulatory control. There's some relaxing of regulation that we're pursuing through the policy changes. But by and large, it's not that extensive, except for the fact that there were a whole lot of changes made to the Growth Management Act since 2020. And so it's been kind of a nerd venture, if you will.
I like that term. Okay.
Trying to figure it out and trying to make sure that the end product is compliant with the act.
Yeah, and we talked last time you were on, kind of in the middle of this thing last fall.
Yeah.
That a lot of what is being driven on this is a state requirement, in the sense that you got to make sure this thing meets a lot of those changes that have happened since 2020.
That's correct. A lot of it, it's well meant. There's a lot of changes affecting housing. Right. Our planning has to focus on housing available for the whole range of income segments. So household incomes ranging from 0 to 30% of your area median income, 30 to 50, 50 to 80 to 120 and above.
And this is the first time at that. I mean, where you've had to dive into that sort of demographic data and then and put planning to it.
That's correct. And that took some pretty extensive work. We were a little behind the curve in terms of our GIS data, but we had got a great team in the IT department that helped pull that information together, and we've been able to provide the analysis that meets our target, basically.
Just give us a for instance. What does that mean, on the ground here in Clallam County when you're having to put that sort of policy in?
Well, it means we're identifying based on projected growth and the income brackets in which that growth is going to occur. We have to make sure that, for example, we have sufficient high density zoning availability so that an NGO or other subsidy group can come in and construct the housing that people will need if they happen to fall within that 0 to 30% income group.
So literally you take a spot of the county and it says, the majority of folks who live here make X, Y, Z. This is their income level. They most likely will need this type of housing.
That's
you better
correct.
make sure you're able to provide an apartment complex, for example, if that were the case.
Sure.
Right.
And the irony is when you're looking at all this data, we all know that houses cost a bundle. And so, it's mildly ironic then when you're looking at, okay, what do you do for this lowest segment, the next segment, and so on. And really, people across the spectrum need help. And I think key to that is not only finding ways to facilitate more housing, but also to facilitate economic development. Mm-hmm. They need jobs that they can compete for the housing that's available.
How does that get rolled into the comp plan for the county then, too? Because that is part of it.
Well, we've taken a pretty heavy look at our economic development policies and have made some pretty substantial changes, primarily focusing on areas like natural resource products, maritime and manufacturing. Certainly construction is another area where I guess what the EDC terms as prosperity wage employment. And the more we can facilitate that, the better off we're going to be.
Okay. As I mentioned, you're kind of in the final stages of putting this together. I guess from your perspective, anything that's really significant in there, you just pointed out a couple of things, though, but taking a look at the update, aside from what's been required, but maybe as somebody that just drops into Clallam County for the first time and says, oh, my gosh, that's way different than I expected.
Well, I think of the most significant things, we're making a recommendation to suspend the Transfer of Development Rights program. This was a program that was enacted back in 1998 that was intended to help protect agricultural lands. Mm-hmm. If you had large farms and so on, they could actually sell their development rights to someone who owns property within the urban growth area of Sequim. And through that transfer of development rights, they could increase their density. The challenge is not one TDR has occurred since the program's inception, which means it's only acting as a barrier to new growth. So we're actually saying, look, let's take this program, not scrap it, but suspend it, until we have economic conditions that'll support its success. And, because it's not meeting its target. And instead, it's prevented us from meeting other targets, which are equally or perhaps even more vital to the well-being of the community. And that is to get housing.
Yeah. Some people may see that and kind of say, oh, my gosh, well, there goes more farmland. I mean, that's automatically going to kick along. But your
the
thoughts?
county's already doing some really good things. The help me out.
Conservation Futures.
Thank you. Conservation Futures is a great program where they've already secured hundreds of acres of farmland by basically purchasing the development rights. And the funds that are being provided are being leveraged with other funding sources. The county's working in tandem with the Land Trust, who's being instrumental in pushing this forward. And it's a great partnership, and it's really, really making some inroads in long-term protection of those lands, which are going to serve our interests well into the future.
Yeah, so suspension of that other program does not affect what that is, because there's been plenty of news about what's happening with the Land Trust and people with conservation futures and such.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And as I said before, what difference does it make if the program isn't working?
Okay. Mike French, who you just heard a moment ago at the help there, was nodding about this as well. In that, I mean, I think at first blush, what Bruce was just talking about, you probably would have heard somebody say, wait a minute, does that then just open a land rush, so to speak, on farmland?
And I think you've seen the commissioners really be supportive of conservation of farmland, and I think that Conservation Futures program is a success because, we've created good partnerships where we have the state RCO office as a major funder. We have local tax dollars that go in to support it. We have the Land Trust working with us, community development. And the reason I think that one is important is because it allows us to be strategic, to go after where we have active farmland and where we have development pressure and say, what can we do that meets that balance? And so it's a program that we're able to be very strategic and find that good balance between we want development and we also want preservation of farmland. So, if that recommendation is coming from Bruce to say, well, we have this program that's not been successful because we haven't had people utilizing it, let's suspend it and let's focus on this program that is being successful.
Right.
And that makes sense.
That I think that brings up a good point. This balance, if you will. People are moving here, and that's part of the issue. Is it's a supply and demand thing, if nothing else. So how do you do that in putting a comp plan together that addresses that? Because they're both, I think, valid concerns. We need more places that can be developed, but on the other hand, there's a lot of folks who are saying no. We need to make sure we keep these open spots as well.
Well, this is where I think the Growth Management Act definitely helps us, because really the places to solve our housing problems are within the urban growth areas. And logically speaking, it makes sense. These are areas where you have urban services, or they can be provided in a reasonable manner, sewer, water, power, etc., and also efficiently and effectively. When we do plan, when we go through this exercise that we've just been through, planning for the 20-year growth projection for the county, it's based on estimates from the Office of Financial Management, who also base their information on census data and so on. There could be some artificial spikes that come along. I know one thing that Clallam County has going for it is that even though it's going to see effects of climate change, chances are it's not going to be as severe as other areas of the county. So one of the question marks is, all right, when other areas become less habitable, are they going to be coming knocking on our door? Again, under the Growth Management Act, we can only go so far as densifying outside of urban areas. In rural areas, the bright line in the sand that's backed by law is that you really can't get any more dense than 5 units per acre. The exceptions being areas that already have a pattern of that. They call those local areas of more intensive rural development, or LAMRDs. But those are snapshots in time. Those places existed in 1990 when the Growth Management Act was first adopted.
Call it grandfathered in, more or less, right? Yeah.
Grandfathered in, and the act allows for infill development within those areas, but not urbanization, and that's a key distinction. So those are only going to bring us as far, they'll bring us a little ways. We actually, from a capacity standpoint, have a lot of capacity in our rural area just under the existing zoning array. However, our goal and our requirement under the Act is to at least demonstrate that we can accommodate future growth within the urban growth areas.
Yeah, Mike?
And to add to that, I think one of the other things that's important that happened probably almost a year ago was the allocation of where that growth should happen. And that's a real negotiation between the county and all the cities to make sure that, you know, we're kind of setting the balance correct at the outset so that we don't have just, you know, one of those municipalities taking up all of that growth allocation, that we're spreading it out in ways that make sense, that we have agreements on.
All right. Any significant changes in you know, rural zoning or density outside that might be coming up in this, or is it pretty much going to continue to be as it has been for those areas? I'm talking about outside the urban growth areas.
Yeah. Well, outside the urban growth areas, no.
Yeah.
There's no proposed changes in zoning density. They weren't found to be needed this time. Where we are likely to make changes and where we're recommending changes is within the city of Sequim, for example. The current zoning array basically allows 5 homes per acre, which isn't dense enough to meet our high-end housing targets, circling back to the idea of meeting the needs of very low and extremely low income households. So there's a couple of areas there that we're proposing to increase it from SR2 to SR3, which goes from 5 units per acre to 10 units per acre. Likewise, out in Clallam Bay CQ, we're proposing a change out there to go from the current URH zone to the MD zone, which goes from, just under 4 units per acre to up to 15. The expectation there is it's not going to see build out in 100 years. However, it does give opportunity for groups to come in and address low-income housing needs, or in the case of Clallam Bay CQ, needs of the professional community, including those who work at the prison.
Sure. If you wanted to put in I'll call it company housing, but that's not what you know what I'm talking about, though. If something's built that is meant to accommodate a workforce.
And if you can do that, you're also adding demand for economic development. So these are all things that dovetail together that can produce good results.
Well, since I have the West End Commissioner here talking about that, I mean, this is something that I think that this is directly relevant to things you have heard from your constituency out there, right?
Yes, very much so. We actually have a monthly meeting. I'm going out there tonight to Clallam Bay CQ and have a monthly meeting where we talk about these issues. And, you know, they have a real need for exactly what Bruce is talking about, a little more density at their speed. And I think I heard last month when we were out there from someone who said, we don't want to have a stoplight, you know, so they do have an upper limit that they don't want to go beyond. But the relevant thing, though, is, of course, that they have sewer, they have urban services. We've had actually a lot of investment in partnership with the State Department of Ecology to rehab that sewer, make sure it's ready for the next 20 years. We're going on with that, probably going out to bid on a fairly large $10 million project this year around that. And so, you know, where we have the land, where we have the urban services, that's where it makes sense to have the density.
All right. Okay, so next steps, obviously got one more hearing on this, it sounds like, for folks to take a look at. And I know this is on the county's website. People want to check out, if they want to, as you meant, nerd out on it a little bit, you can look at it there, right?
Absolutely. You can go to the Agenda Center and you can see exactly what the Planning Commission is dealing with. Their packet is posted there. And I would say at least one more hearing.
Okay.
They may have a little more work session to go through. And of course, I always like to leave opportunity open for people to comment. And it would be my recommendation to leave the record open until they are done with their work.
After it gets to the Planning Commission, then it still has to get to the county commissioners.
Right.
They get another shot at it, too.
That's correct. And there'll also be at least a public hearing, if not continued public hearings before the board, before they're satisfied and can make their decision on it.
So once it gets signed off at the county level, then the state still has to say it's okay, too.
That's right.
So now, considering that you're behind already, is that a concern at this point? Because here's the other thing, is everybody's doing this at the same time. So
Right.
I would imagine the state's pretty well full up with reviews at this point.
Well, we're in good company. That's one thing I can say. There are a lot of other jurisdictions. I know Port Angeles already got theirs across the finish line, and kudos to them. But you know, we're in good company. You know, many jurisdictions, especially this time around with the scope of work that is required,
exactly,
is a little bit behind. But it's better to get it done right than to force it through. It's better to provide ample opportunity for people to review and comment than to race it through. So.
And not taking anything against or away from the city, you've got a lot more things you have to deal with in a county plan, just geographically speaking, if nothing else.
Geographically speaking, yes. I think there's still complexities at a city that I do empathize with.
And maybe you're thankful you don't have to deal with some of those.
Well, we do, though, because part of the county jurisdiction includes urban growth areas, which we then have to coordinate well with the cities to make sure urban services get extended and have policies in regard to that, and how the handoff occurs when it's time for the cities to annex.
So I mean, just riddle me this. As you look at the map of things, we've just talked about housing and needs and places where we could build out. You all hear this one. Well, there's just not enough land to build on.
I think our best option is probably Carlsberg, where we've seen, we have open land and we've seen an expansion of services. Clallam County put in a sewer some years ago. We have good relationship with the PUD to make sure there's water service that extends throughout the urban growth area. And I think we're going to have a little more density. I don't know if Bruce has other thoughts on that too, though.
No, I think that's absolutely right. Carlsberg is a great location for this. We do have adequate area for development. And the Growth Management Act, fortunately, in 2024 was amended to give yet another option for expanding urban growth areas. They call it, off the cuff, it's UGA swaps. If you have an area where development is stagnating, primarily because the existing development pattern isn't conducive to bringing in new development, you can look at another urban growth area that isn't producing, and you can actually reduce that urban growth area, bring a commensurate amount of expansion to the urban growth area that needs the growth, and it's one way of addressing that need. The other side of it is very simply, if you do run out of room, the Act allows you to expand. So it's a tough lift. I mean, you have a lot of things you have to demonstrate, but it does address that, and it will continue to evolve over time. So I suspect there'll be more arrows in our quiver for addressing that.
All right, before we run out of time, I want to talk a bit about the RV ordinance that you had an update this week and have kind of decided to, I guess, break that elephant into some different parts this time for various reasons. Part of this is going to fall under comprehensive plan update, and some of it you're pulling out to be just standalone separate. I think the actual RV living time part of this as well. So get us up to speed on kind of where that's at. There was a lot of pushback, obviously, when it first rolled out.
There was a lot of pushback. I think, unfortunately, not everyone understood that we already regulate RV use, long-term RV use. The Environmental Health Division requires you to address sewage disposal if you're going to occupy an RV for greater than 30 days. Our accessory dwelling unit standard says that if you have a house and you place an RV next to it, you can't occupy that RV for more than 90 consecutive days. And by definition, an RV park is 2 or more RVs, which means you have to get a binding site plan and the zoning has to be appropriate in order to do it. What we wanted to do was say, look, people are using RVs as a secondary housing option, and we don't want to take that away from them. What can we do? Well, let's see about bringing it through the process and eliminating that time limit and making it clear, as long as you meet this, and this, have your life safety issues addressed, you should be able to have an RV that you can occupy, or a family member, or whatever the situation be. In getting into it, yes, the Planning Commission still thought that a 180-day limit was necessary. The board was quick to say, we don't support that. So the current proposal is allow occupancy of an RV as long as you're hooked up to septic or have other means of dealing with those life safety issues. You could potentially occupy a second RV with the issuance of a conditional use permit. So that gives us the ability to look more at the aesthetic, traffic impact, and so on. But these things, what they represent, an expansion of the use. This isn't additional regulation. This is relaxing the regulation so that we can be a little more humane in our approach to what people are kind of being forced to have to do.
Right.
Now, where are we?
Yeah.
We decided that the change included amendments to 5 sections of the zoning code. It turned out being larger than was easy to communicate.
Yeah.
And so what we decided to do was, hey, let's break this up. We included, as a matter of convenience, recent changes under the Growth Management Act that require us to allow 2 accessory dwelling units in urban growth areas. So we said, let's take that out and make that part of our comprehensive plan update, the change to zoning. Right. So that part comes out. Let's also, another provision that we wanted to try was to allow for park models to be used as short-term rentals, which currently you're not allowed to do. But, and since it's simple and easy to communicate, let's make that a separate issue. And then we'll make simply the RV use, occupancy beyond 30 days, its own separate ordinance issue. Obviously, we've got a few things to do in the interim, like get through the comprehensive plan update, but my plan is to bring that back through the process with the Planning Commission once they're done with their comprehensive plan update recommendation.
And hence, from your work session this week, probably sometime think about April-ish and beyond for some of that as well.
That's correct.
One of the things, and you alluded to this, things have changed since park models weren't even a thing when a lot of these ordinances were first kicked around. Nobody thought about them. They're great places, but it's like, how do we classify that? What is that really?
Well, park model is a little different animal. It doesn't have a holding tank.
Right.
You have to hook it up to facilities, adequate sewage disposal, adequate water source, usually a power source. Typically, even though they're on wheels, they typically get put on some kind of a foundation. And once they're placed, because they have to be hooked up, they become part of the valuation of the property. So there's all these differences about it. They are, according to the Department of Labor and Industry, still designed for short-term occupancy, and their recommendation is no more than 180 days in a 12-month period. So when we looked at it, it says, well, what's a short-term rental? Less than 30-day occupancy. Why can't these be used? Maybe this will provide a little bit of a release valve to eliminate some of the competition for existing housing stock.
Could be, yeah.
And so these were the reasons why we thought it made sense to treat park models a little differently.
Right. And we have some great local dealers that are doing good business and providing more options for people. One of the criticisms that we heard in a lot of our public hearings around this big omnibus idea was, you're taking away some of the lower options, and I don't think that was ever our intent. Our intent is to allow more, and so I think there's both some confusion, but some good points that people were making, and we wanted to be responsive to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Perhaps we'll talk some more about all of that as it comes along as well again. So lots happening. Bruce, great to talk to you. Thanks for the update on the comp plan. It sounds like we're almost over the line. You're almost there. Not sure what you're going to do with your time once you get done with that. It's been a heavy lift for the last year or so for you and your department.
I've got a whole stack of stuff waiting for me.
All right. He's the Community Development Director here in Clallam County. And Commissioner Mike French, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we're going to dive into the world of local business with our Business Bit segment coming up next.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Step into Spoon Bar Sweets in downtown Squim, where everything feels just a little more magical. Their hand-scooped milkshakes are pure happiness in a cup, but the bakery case? Oh, that's where the love lives. Cookies that melt in your mouth, golden pastries, and cupcakes topped with clouds of frosting, all baked in-house with a whole lot of heart. Sit and relax inside with a cup of Rain Shadow coffee. Spoon Bar Sweets, bringing a little extra sugar to your day every day.
Looking for affordable home ownership on the peninsula? Mountain View Homes has you covered. Enjoy high-quality craftsmanship at 40% less than traditional homes. You heard me, 40% less. We offer full-service land packages from dirt to turnkey, delivering beautiful, efficient manufactured homes on your chosen site. With 3 convenient locations, including Carlsberg, we're here to serve you. Visit mtviewhomes.com today to learn more. Mountain View Homes, where affordability meets quality.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries 452-7803 or lakesideindustries.com.
Olympic Hot Tub Super Smart Top Special is here. Hey, it's Ryan Roland Smith. This is your chance to save now on your new hot tub and get a free Smart Top worth $3,700. Take it from me because I have one. Smart Top is the ultimate cover for your tub. Strong, long-lasting, and ready to defend your tub against northwest weather. Super Smart Top Special savings will make you feel, well, super. Details at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Hi folks, this is Courtney from Lavender Meadows. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair, an event dedicated to caring for the heart in all the ways that truly matter. On February 14th, we're bringing together an inspiring local businesses and knowledgeable guest speakers who are passionate about heart health, from movement and mindfulness to nourishment and health. This is a free event for your health. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair from 11 to 3, February 14th at Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
Hi, this is Clallam PUD, and we have a few tips to help you through the winter and its potential for power outages. Be prepared by checking your flashlights and purchasing extra batteries. Stock up on non-perishable food and water. Have a plan for any medical devices that require power or medications that need refrigeration. If your power does go out, first check your breakers. If they're okay, then report the outage to us by phone or by using our Smart Hub app on your mobile device. Visit clallampud.net for updates, to view our current outage map, and for tips and resources on outage preparation and safety.
All right, Thursday, our last segment devoted to business bits. That's when our business guru, Kevin Holt, comes in and talks about really interesting things that involve the world of business. And as I like to say, you don't have to necessarily own one, but maybe you're thinking about going into one, or maybe you just work at one. And in the case of today, it may be just going into one.
That's right.
This might affect you as well. So welcome, Kevin. Good to have you back again. And before we go any further,
yes,
I got to promote his website.
Thank you.
So I don't forget, KevinYourBusinessCoach.com, where he puts notes of all of this stuff on there. And he also, you can contact Kevin with your questions too there as well. All right, we're getting into all sorts of things about scams, slams, and on the lam.
That's right.
Yeah, I like the rhyme there. Okay, let's go for it.
Well, we've got a fun internet scam that popped up. We have some home budget slams from the holiday season, and I found some bureaucrats on the lam. And just before we wrap up today, I will reveal the number one clue in the email you just received that will tell you it's fraudulent. Ooh. There's a commonality. Of all people, the state auditor's office found out, and they told us about it. So we'll share that in a little while. On the internet scam, I have given Todd some notes here that have, it looks like I duplicated my URLs. It's like I've got Microsoft.com and Microsoft.com and Gmail.com and Gmail.com.
Ah, but you didn't.
That's
you looked closely, right? Yeah.
Get your glasses on. Is that an M as in Mary or an RN as in Robert Nancy? Because you see, in the font of the internet, they look identical.
I know. I was just going to say, if I had that actually on the screen in front of me, I'm trying to look at how I could see how I could easily think that was an M.
That's right. Well, and just to go art teach you with our notes, we're looking at reflected light. On the screen, we're getting transmitted light, and that smooshes that up even more. So why is this important? Well, scammers are using the RN version of Microsoft.com to tell you things like, this is a virus warning from the Microsoft Corporation. Your device has been compromised. Follow this link and log in with your Microsoft credentials in order to scan and recover your files. And that takes you right to a fake web page, and you log in, and now they have your Microsoft login and password, which is exactly the purpose. They did the same thing with Gmail, as in Gmail.
That one's actually
that one's
even better.
worse. Yeah,
because
more
I'm looking
better.
at that GRN thing looks pretty much like GM.
It does, and I think it's the way that computers space the letters. They call it leading in typography. Something that follows a consonant like that gets shoved in a little bit tighter. And so you get that email that says your Gmail box is full and can no longer receive important messages. Accounts not maintained properly will be terminated. So log in to get your free gigabyte upgrade.
Whoa, it's free.
Uh-huh.
Of course I'm going to log in.
That's right. It's free because you're going to lose it.
Wow. I have not had, that I know of,
That's
had
right.
one of these hit yet. I'm pretty meticulous about not doing any sort of upgrade or giving anybody a password.
And I think that's the real message here is stop and think, because it is hard to look at that URL. But more importantly, just ask yourself, since when does Microsoft send people emails? Yeah. and since when does Gmail give you anything free? Besides the initial account.
Initial thing.
Yep.
Anything else, it's always an upsell.
Pay. So, it's a time for critical thinking because there's some automated tools out there. I won't go into it in detail because it's a little nerdy, but some new automated tools have come out for hackers that make it possible for them to basically, without any technical skills whatsoever, launch a phishing attack, those phishing emails, I'm going to steal your password from you, and they don't have to do anything but sign up for this platform.
Oh,
then they
like
can.
A turnkey
that's
operation
right.
For them, right? Yeah, okay.
And they can pick from a selection of prepared phishing emails that they just say, hey, send them here. They can buy email lists right there on the platform, and you say, well, why does somebody do this? Well, they get a cut of the action. So it's like sign up to our platform. It's free of charge.
And we'll take 5% of whatever you get, or
more
whatever.
like 30.
Yeah, right.
These are criminals.
They're
not nice people. But again, these are processes that automate, or as they would say in Silicon Valley, democratize access to hacking. So watch out. I think I'm going to switch to ham radio, to tell you the truth.
I would too. I'll give one other thing too that be careful of. You might get Microsoft.net.
Yes.
Or you might get something that's or one of the many other dots. Whatever.
There's so many
now available. And here's the scary part about that. If you're at all somewhat internet savvy, it used to be at some point, I'm not going to say Microsoft did this, but a lot of companies would take the .com would be their real front-facing part where their product
their publicly facing brand. Yeah.
But they would use a .net at the same domain, and it might be
it's usually the employees log in.
Thing, right? So it was. So sometimes you go, well, it was probably still legitimate.
That's right. And they have completely opened up the whatever the heck, so that now there's .cmo and .cum and all these crazy things that can just thoroughly confuse you. So just stay out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back to watching broadcast television. It's safer.
And be careful, too. I'll just say one other thing is oftentimes they will camouflage your actual email address on top of theirs. So what it looks like in your email thing is it's an email coming from you.
That's right.
And you don't know what the actual return
And so you
address
click
is.
on it to see, what the heck is this? Did I send myself something from work?
I have a lot of credit cards that I have to update.
Oh.
But I've never had an American Express, but yet I get a lot of my American Express account is compromised.
That's a very common strategy because they know American Express people are often traveling.
Good point.
And that makes them a much easier victim. You notice they never tried Discover because nobody has it.
Yeah. Very true. All right. Home budgets.
Getting slammed. The Federal Bank of New York, Federal Reserve of New York, releases every quarter they release a consumer debt report. Well, home budgets got slammed this holiday season. I think we know how we kept up our purchases at the same volume as last year. Apparently this year we dreamed of a red Christmas, as in going into debt. Like this year's Super Bowl loser, home budgets are hanging their heads as we go into 19. How old am I? Go into 2026.
We only wish.
That's right. Oh, those 19s. I had hair back then. This December's revolving credit balances, as in credit cards, went up nearly $14 billion. So a year ago, we owed $14 billion less in credit cards than we owe now.
Yeah, that's just a change in 1 month.
Yeah. Well, that's a change over the year.
Over the year. Okay.
Year to year. So it's the biggest jump since last Christmas. The non-revolving credit balances, like mortgages and car notes, that went up more than $10 billion. So taken together, that's an almost $25 billion increase in household consumer debt. And of course, since everybody's making the minimum payments now, the corollary to this revolting development is dwindling household savings. Saving rates are estimated to drop to from a pandemic high of 7% down to 3.5%. And that's about the long-term rate of inflation. So that 3.5% savings rate probably isn't going to deliver a home down payment anytime soon.
No.
So it's, again, we spend and we go into debt and we pay the minimum balance, and then we wonder why we don't have any money. I've said this before. It's not a very nice thing to say, but do we have a housing crisis or do we have a financial literacy crisis? When people are buying cars at 25% interest, I'm worried about financial literacy.
Yeah. I don't think those numbers are going to go down as far interest numbers are going to go down. Even if prime rates go down, I mean, theoretically they will. But why would I if I am a credit card company? If I can continue to make you pay me 25%, you will.
Well, you're wiser than you know, because you might recall that in 2022, 2023, prime rates were historically low. People were getting mortgages for 3.5%. Credit card rates didn't go down a dime. In fact, they went up.
Exactly.
And so you're exactly right. We've got all these indentured servants now that are in so much debt, we know they can't pay it off. So we're going to keep our foot on the pedal and drive them into the ground. So, we had a previous administration that tried to trick people into believing they were going to be able to get out of their student loans, which they can't. However, there is a new income-driven repayment program that's going to be launched this summer, so that's when they're really going to start rolling on people. They pulled back the pedal on those garnishments, but the time is coming. And, of course, nobody's even ever talked about getting out of credit card debt, although next time we get together, we'll talk about that a little bit. Some people are doing some very silly things. Well, here's another budget scam. We are fortunate to get local news from a reputable outlet like KONP. Too many outlets live for the clicks. An example showed up this week in a publication that should have known better. The headline screamed, "Half of Americans' households are struggling to pay bills every month." Well, I get it. The bills are certainly higher than they used to be, but half are struggling. Half. Where did that come from? Well, with a little internet searching, I was able to find the original survey that supported this grand conclusion. The source was a poll sampling people seeking to file an IRS tax return online in late December and early January. What do we know about people looking to file taxes in late December and early January? These are people that are expecting a refund.
The only reason to put your tax return in early is you think you're getting money back.
That's right. And they're asking then because they need it as quickly as possible to pay their bills. That suggests the poll sampled an economic demographic that does indeed struggle to pay bills each month. Is that half of all of America? Well, ask those who owe taxes. You know, the ones asking about online filing on April 10th.
That just harkens me to one of the favorite claims. I'm a big baseball fan, but I always laugh at the stats.
Yes.
You know, he's
a 500 hitter.
500 hitter among's left-handers who were born on a Wednesday in a leap year.
That's right. And remember, a 500 hitter is a 50% failure.
That's a good point.
And almost impossible. There's very few. 500 is something that happens in a moment in time, not for your season.
Is phenomenal. So then you realize that means 2/3 of the time
they
you don't
fail. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So if you'd like, we can stop, and then we can talk about bureaucrats on the lam.
Okay, we will do that when we come back with our business bits with Kevin Holt right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Step into Spoon Bar Sweets in downtown Squim, where everything feels just a little more magical. Their hand-scooped milkshakes are pure happiness in a cup, but the bakery case? Oh, that's where the love lives. Cookies that melt in your mouth, golden pastries, and cupcakes topped with clouds of frosting, all baked in-house with a whole lot of heart. Sit and relax inside with a cup of Rain Shadow coffee. Spoon Bar Sweets, bringing a little extra sugar to your day every day.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next vehicle. We have the new Ford Maverick and Ranger, along with the highly capable compact crossover Ford Bronco Sport. Looking for pre-owned? We have the largest selection in the area. Let us help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit Price Ford next to Walmart in Port Angeles or priceford.com and become part of the Price family.
Hey, it's Trina here at West Alder Storage in Squim. Are you needing additional storage? Boy, do we have a great deal for you. $20 off your monthly fee, and with our Seahawks Super Bowl 60 special going on, you can get $60 off your first 2 months. Wow, $60 off. So if you're in the need of storage, give me a call at West Alder Storage. 683-9497. Again, 683-9497.
It's winter clearance time at Brown's Outdoor. Come in and take advantage of clearance pricing on all your favorite brands. And for a limited time, take an additional 10% off clearance clothing. Also, check out our selection of hats and gloves for those chilly weather walks or hikes. Don't forget to take a gander at our current footwear clearance, along with sales on select MSR snowshoes. When it comes to winter adventures, Brown's has you covered from head to toe. Family owned and outfitting you and your family since 1919.
When caring for someone you love, it's important for you to take time to rest. At Dungeness Court Memory Care, our overnight respite care offers peace of mind in a safe, family-style setting. From overnight to several weeks, your loved one receives a dedicated caregiving staff, 24-hour on-site nursing, meals, and calming activities, with all-inclusive rates starting at $325 per night. No long-term commitment, just loving care when you need it most. Call Dungeness Court Memory Care at 360-582-9309 today.
Hi, this is John Hull. I'm president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
All right, back with one more segment with Kevin Holt, our business guru. We have him come in Thursday afternoons to talk a little shop about business with us here on the show in our Business Bit segment. We're going to now go on and talk about bureaucrats on the lam.
That's right. This is funny business. You know, your Washington State Auditor's Office is radically accelerating their use of AI. Auditors use AI to quickly analyze transactions, look for patterns, and compare records. The Auditor's Office recently saw some problems with remote work. No. But it's not the kind you might expect. Instead of slacking, state employees were taking advantage of the shortage of applicants for state jobs. State jobs are just as hard to fill as private sector jobs. So state workers are going on the books working 2 full-time jobs in different state departments. They are supposed to be working a full 40 hours from 8 to 5, but for 2 different agencies simultaneously. In the words of one state auditor, clearly that's physically impossible. That's right. Here are 4 enforcement stories from the Auditor's Office. The Washington State Department of Agriculture recently received an anonymous tip. An education specialist claimed time worked at agriculture while working full-time at a second employer at the same time. Agriculture contacted the second employer and obtained timesheets for comparison. An investigation determined the education specialist reported time in agriculture that they did not actually work. Restrain your amazement. That scheme resulted in over $7,000 in payroll misappropriation in a 6-month period. So how'd you like an extra $7,000 for filling out some paperwork?
Heck yeah, why not, right? Yeah. Imagine if that had gone
Well,
I mean, that could go for years.
Listen on. Okay. An overachiever in the Employment Security Department, such a well-run organization, was found to have worked as both a human resources consultant and a remote customer care team specialist. Stealing wages wasn't enough for this double dipper. This go-getter used their authority to give themselves over $10,000 in undeserved paid family and medical leave benefits. Then they paid out over $24,000 to a business that didn't exist. That's a big favorite in Olympia. Then they gave themselves $15,000 in unemployment benefits. All of these people, by the way, have been referred for prosecution.
I would
Thank
hope
goodness.
so. Okay.
Yes. Well, they also collected 2 paychecks. A regional emergency communications supervisor didn't have the initiative to get a second job. This person had a better idea. The supervisor awarded themselves almost $9,000 in overtime during days they actually left early.
So they clocked out early, but then said, I worked overtime.
Well, and sorry to say it, but during the investigation, they said, oh, I guess I got it backwards. I should have cut my time back.
Okay.
No, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you're fired.
Yeah. Wow.
Department of Natural Resources on-site timber sales inspector was supposed to be out of town. A supervisor passed by their home and the worker's state-issued car was parked in the driveway. A later investigation discovered almost $30,000 in fraudulent travel reimbursement. Just sit home and write out the report.
I write the report, and oh yeah, by the way, I was in XYZ for the last week.
Well, who's going to know? Yeah. Wow. And that makes you wonder about how those timber sales went when he wasn't there to inspect them.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's supposed to be auditing the taxes that we're collecting on the piddling timber sales that we're getting.
So that has a real cascading effect, doesn't it?
One wonders if maybe he was paid to stay home, but I wouldn't, suggest anything like that. Well, I promised at the beginning, here's the number one clue that the email you received is fraudulent and trying to steal your credentials. Our auditor's office used AI to analyze those ever-present phishing emails that come in to state agencies as well. And those emails that are trying to trick us into giving out our passwords. This analysis revealed that the word kindly shows up in every fraudulent email.
Kindly.
Can you kindly change this? Kindly reply back to me. Kindly change your password, and so on. So kindly avoid any emails that use the word kindly. And I think
interesting word.
Yeah, well, and
we don't use it very often. Yeah.
But in other cultures and other countries, they do. And when those emails originate in those locations, they would kindly use the language they're accustomed to. There's also a peculiar commonality in government imposter calls coming from overseas. Those are the people that call up and say, you missed jury duty, now you got to pay. The caller will warn you that there will be an arrest warrant on your name. Have you ever heard anyone say that? Yeah.
No, I have never heard that
No,
said.
we say you have a warrant or a warrant will be issued for your arrest.
Yeah.
So once again, just another example of why it's important to keep your wits about you as things continue to get really weird. So when that phone call comes in and they tell you there's a warrant on your name, tell them, great, send them over. I'm ready to go.
Or say, I've hated my name for a long time. Come get it.
That's right. Get that name out of here.
Wow. Kindly
take my name.
Yes.
That's right. Well, next time it's Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, but not the book. Tough economic times seem to increase the embrace of fringe ideas that help no one. Well, we'll take a look when we meet again on Business Bits.
Ooh, all right. Very good. Again, I'll remind folks, go to kevinyourbusinesscoach.com.
Please do.
And his name's Kevin.
That's right.
And he's a business coach.
.com. No RNs or
no
Ms.
RNs or any weird things in there, and he does not use the word kindly.
And I'm not going to take your credentials. You can just send me an email and give me a question, and maybe we'll talk about it on the air.
Which we do love to do.
Frequently.
I love hearing from folks out there that have questions about what's going on. We'll do it again next Thursday.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. And on that note, that'll wrap things up for us this afternoon. We'll check in with the news. It's coming up next.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Picture this: a warm summer evening, great company, and the perfect deck beneath your feet. If you're looking to build a deck, or your current deck is showing its age, it's time for an upgrade. And your favorite employee-owned stores, Angel's Millwork and Hartnaggles, are here to help. Our employee owners don't just sell decking, we listen, guide, and make sure you get the perfect materials for your home, budget, and lifestyle. Looking for natural beauty? Cedar and Douglas fir decking bring warmth and real wood character, but they do require regular upkeep. Want low maintenance durability? Composite decking blends wood and plastics for long-lasting strength with minimal care. But maybe you need the ultimate in longevity. PVC decking comes with warranties of up to 50 years and requires little more than a simple rinse to stay looking great. See and feel the difference for yourself. Visit lumbertraders.com or stop by Angel's Millwork or Hartnaggles to talk with a decking specialist today. As always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Kick off the Valentine's weekend with an event that will fill your heart and your plate. Come enjoy a spaghetti dinner Friday the 13th at Squim Prairie Grange. Bring a date and the family for a complete spaghetti dinner, including salad, bread, a beverage, plus a sweet dessert for your sweetie at the Squim Prairie Grange. Come celebrate community during the spaghetti dinner Friday the 13th, 5 to 7 p.m., Squim Prairie Grange at 290 Maclay Road in Squim. On February 21st, it's Mardi Gras time at the Naval Elks Lodge. Enjoy great music, dancing, and party games while raising funds to support homeless veterans in the area. The Elks Riders love to help the community and have a great time. Join them Saturday the 21st at their big Mardi Gras bash at the PA Elks Lodge. Get tickets at the door or look up events at the Elks on Facebook for details.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
It's time for your Port of PA Today.
Hello, this is Port Commissioner Connie Beaufet. The Port of Port Angeles continues to keep busy, attracting even more business and jobs to our area. We've been sharing the exciting news about the new aviation company, Citizen Air, expanding operations at Fairchild. The port also welcomes Port Angeles Composite, a subsidiary of Honda Aircraft Company, developing operations with their purchase of ACTI. This news brings the potential for new, well-paying jobs as Port Angeles Composites expands its business of manufacturing composite aircraft parts. We're also delighted about Bricks Marine, growing its production capacity and broadening their range of products. By committing to our area's future, the great companies working with the port are transforming how our county will connect with the world beyond.
This has been your Port of PA Today.
I take care of the kids, my dad, things at work, but I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression. Go to mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
The North Olympic Peninsula's news station. News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim, AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. In Arizona, the FBI returned to Nancy Guthrie's home today, focusing on the front porch for clues. The Pima County Sheriff told a local news outlet that 2 gloves have been found about 1.5 miles away from Guthrie's home. They're now being analyzed. And authorities are asking Guthrie's neighbors to provide ring video footage for a range of dates before and after her disappearance. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
Investigators are now asking Nancy Guthrie's neighbors if they can go and check their security cameras. In the Ring app, they're being asked to check for video from January 11th and from January 31st. That was the day before Guthrie went missing. Because there could have been a suspicious vehicle in the area, they've received over 18,000 tips. It appears they're now working through them.
A federal judge temporarily blocked the Department of Defense from attempting to demote and reduce the retirement benefits for Senator Mark Kelly, stemming from the video the Navy combat veteran made with fellow Democrats. The U.S. District Judge says the DOD and Secretary Pete Hegseth trampled on Kelly's First Amendment rights. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
This is all tied back to that video that the president really thrust into the spotlight of a number of congressional Democrats who have backgrounds in the military or the intelligence community, speaking directly via a social media video to U.S. troops, saying that they can deny to follow illegal orders. They can decline to go along with an illegal order. That's all these members said in this video.
And in New York City, the Pride flag is flying once again at the historic Stonewall Inn after the National Park Service removed it from the National Monument. The inn was the historic site of the Stonewall riots decades ago, which sparked the gay rights movement. New York elected officials raised the flags once again next to the American flag on a separate flagpole. No word yet from the Trump administration if it will be removed again. You're listening to ABC News.
Build your team. Build it sooner. Beat your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them soon.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight, starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now with more news, here's Michelle Franzen.
A lapse in communication between at least 2 federal agencies are factors in the unusual FAA decision to close the airspace over El Paso, Texas, citing, quote, special security reasons. The closure was initially imposed for 10 days, but rescinded just hours later. ABC's Martha Raddatz says different explanations are also unfolding.
We are learning that the U.S. military was testing laser technology meant to bring down cartel drones. The FAA was concerned about the safety of civilian aircraft and learned that earlier in the week, the laser had been used without notifying the FAA. Sources telling us that the laser was used on an object flying in the vicinity of Fort Bliss and El Paso Airport. But instead of a cartel drone, it turned out to be merely a balloon. A balloon.
Following his meeting with Israeli Prime Minister yesterday, President Trump has a new warning for Iran.
President Trump says his administration will continue to talk to Iran as he pushes for an agreement on Iran's nuclear program. While he indicated diplomacy will continue as long as he likes, the president also made it clear U.S. military strikes against Iran are still on the table.
We have to make a deal, otherwise it's going to be very traumatic. Very traumatic. I don't want that to happen, but we have to make a deal.
ABC's Karen Travers. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
KONP News brought to you by McCrory Carpet One. Always priced right, always done right. It's McCrory Carpet One. In Olympia, the State House has approved a bill aimed at tightening rules around voter registration challenges. House Bill 1916 would require challengers to use state forms, show firsthand knowledge, and limit their challenges to their own county. Supporters say it protects voters from intimidation. Republicans who voted against it argue it restricts election oversight. The bill now moves over to the state Senate. The state Senate has unanimously approved new legislation calling for a review of how child welfare cases are screened as serious incidents rise despite fewer cases overall.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 49. Winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Chance for rain tonight. Lows dip down to about 38. Cloudy skies expected. Rain likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 46. Overcast skies. Daytime highs approaching 44 Saturday with a slight chance for rain. 43 mainly sunny skies Sunday. Looking at the long range, 43 Monday, 44 Tuesday, and 45 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 48.
Normal is broke and common sense is weird. So we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, this is The Ramsey Show, and I'm Rachel Cruz hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney. And it's a special show because we're kicking off our money and marriage events and have many people here in studio that are going to be attending the events, which is so fun. And so we are here, though, on this show to take your calls. So you can give us a call at 888-825-5225. The lines are open. So we're here to talk about your life and your money. Up first, oh gosh, all the way in Alaska, we got Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, how you doing?
We're doing great. How can we help?
So my question is, now that I am engaged to the most amazing woman in the world, when we do get married, we've agreed that we want to combine our finances into one account and do that together. But I've never combined finances with anybody before, even in my first marriage. And two is I actually kind of have some control issues that I know I have. So my question is what advice would you guys give to people and how we can be successful in doing that together?
It's a great question. Very self-aware, Aaron.
Wait, tell me about your control issues.
For a person with control issues to say that sentence out loud, that tells me you're pretty special. What does control issues mean?
I've spent the last couple years in therapy kind of getting over my own personal things and stuff like that the last year or two. I think for me I get really frustrated when, part of it's kind of like not getting my way, or I think this is the best way to do this. Why aren't we doing this way? And then just kind of micromanaging things and stuff like that. And I know it's been an issue in past relationships. And obviously this isn't something that I want to get in the way with me and my fiance.
Bro, this is what changing a family tree looks like in real life. I'm super proud of you, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Like for real. To be able to say, I've hurt people in the past, I've not been the guy that I want to be, and I want to do something different, and I'm going to go get the education, and now I'm asking for wisdom on, like, okay, rubber meets the road, how do I do this thing? That's how the whole country will change if people will start doing what you're doing right now. So hear me say, I'm proud of you. It's awesome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wait, you mentioned
the last couple years has been all about that.
Good.
So good. You mentioned this is your second marriage. Is it her second marriage as well?
It is.
It is, okay. Because we do find with second marriages specifically that, not that it's harder to take this step of combining finances, but there's already been so much pain and hurt and untangling of finances if they were combined in the previous marriage, that going into the second, sometimes it's like a bigger hill to climb to be like, okay, we're going to do this. But the fact that you guys are doing something even differently than your first with money is so encouraging. So what I would do is, like, when we say combine accounts, that really means mostly your primary checking and any savings accounts, right? We're not combining any retirement. We obviously want to take advantage of each of you having your own retirement. And when you're looking at combining it, there's a couple of things. So it's the logistical side of just changing checking accounts, which some people, we hear that excuse, like, oh, I just want to go down to the bank and do it. It's just so much work. So there's that side. But then there's also the side of realizing, okay, she is going to spend money on things that you may not truly understand, and vice versa. And what's beautiful about that, though, is that's where the conversations start to happen. Even in the conflict, that starts to happen. So if you can kind of get ahead of that, Aaron, and do a budget together, sit down together and walk through where you want your income to go as you guys combine incomes and say, this is one. But you can start having those conversations and engagement. I wouldn't pull any triggers till after you actually are legally married. But this is a great point. And even the wedding planning, is a great kind of springboard into this. Like, create a wedding budget. You guys sit down, even have a checking account for the wedding budget and say, hey, here's what we're going to spend. And plan that out together. It's kind of a little bit of a test run before you guys actually combine everything and pay bills together.
And I'll give you 2 practical tips, okay? You ready?
Yes.
And I got this from Rachel and from Dave. Tip number 1 is, since you're the controlling guy and you know that about yourself, I'm guessing, to use Rachel's language, you're the nerd, right? You have a way that things need to be done, right? So you go first and you make the budget and you bring it to your budget meeting. And then you slide it across the table to your wife and you say nothing other than, I want you to look at this and change a few things. And then hold your breath and exhale and do all your breathing exercises you learned in therapy and all that.
Or change as much as she wants.
Yeah, change what she wants. And then here's the beautiful part about it. Here's the second tip. Anytime y'all get into a conflict on, when you say, I think we can do groceries for $100 this month, and she's like, actually, it's $700. And you're like, I'll just eat right. That you get in those kind of nonsensical things. I want you to use this phrase. The story I'm choosing to make up is. And for people who struggle with control issues, by framing it that way, you are opening yourself up. You're inviting someone in to challenge your story. And yours might be, the story I'm choosing to make up is, you don't think I'm smart. Or you think I'm dumb. Or you think that I don't know how to do math. Or like whatever. And then she can say, no, that's not the story at all, actually. And then now y'all are coming together on an issue. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're peering into my soul right now, man.
Okay, yeah, well, I may or may not have control issues myself. So, like, being able to just put that on, and by the way, this isn't just going to be your money. This is going to be about sex. This is going to be about kids. This is going to be about where y'all live. If you can start hard conversations with the phrase, hey, this just happened, and the story I'm choosing to make up about it is, then you give somebody an opportunity to come to connect with you. I say this, and I don't mean it to be cheesy, but conflict in marriage can be a great thing. It's a connection point. It means something matters. And when you invite somebody into it, it's amazing. When you start a conflict with, I'm right, or you screwed that
Or
up.
it's your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. Then what you're doing is you're declaring war, and they have to defend themselves, right? And so just those two things. And Rachel, I'm over dramatic. We know that. I like the idea of both of y'all canceling your current checking accounts and getting a new bank. Unless y'all just have like a broed out relationship. Because there's something about
starting over.
Y'all both had other marriages. This is like us starting completely over in the same on the same page in the same place, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can.
I'm listening. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
Yeah, and combining money, it is one of the more scary, vulnerable things, especially when you get married later. If it's your second marriage, like I said, because you're so used to doing something the way you've been doing it, and it's worked for you up until this point. And so changing the way maybe you not necessarily see money, but how you're handling it, and then entering into someone else's story, right? That she has her own set of how she grew up, her tendencies, everything. And you guys combining that, it's one of the best things you can do, Aaron, for your marriage. It really is. It is such a central point that so many couples miss out on when they choose not to do it, because you end up running on just completely two separate paths. And you never intersect. You never have a chance to have conflict because it's like, well, that's just his over there and he's going to just do it. So you guys you honestly are. You have such courage to step in and do something that's really scary that most couples wouldn't. Most couples don't. And I think you'll be better for it. You really will. The intimacy that's created, the conversations that's created, the unity on your goals and your dreams, so much comes out of that funnel of money, because money is a tool that creates the ability to do everything. And when you're on the same page with it, it's beautiful. So we're excited for you guys. And you know what? Hold on the line, Aaron. Christian's going to pick up, and we're going to give you every dollar as a wedding gift for a year.
Premium for a year. Hey, Ron.
Yes, so you guys can.
This one's gonna happen.
Do a budget together.
I'm excited for y'all. Hey, what's up? This is Dr. John Deloney from Mama Bear Legal Forms. I spend a lot of time talking with people about anxiety, relationship challenges, and other heavy topics that keep us up at night. One thing I'm always telling everyone is this: peace does not come from avoiding hard things. It comes from facing hard things. And one of the hard things that we all face is our own mortality. Yep, we're all going to die someday. And if you've got kids or people you love, creating a will is one of the most important gifts you can give them. When I moved from Texas to Tennessee, one of the first things I did was set up my will through Mama Bear Legal Forms so that my family was protected in my new state. Mama Bear helps you make a clear, legally valid will in about 20 minutes with step-by-step guidance that makes it simple. If you're ready to love your family in a real, practical way, go to mamabearlegalforms.com and use promo code Ramsey to save 20%. That's mamabearlegalforms.com, code Ramsey.
Mortgage rates are starting to come down, and a lot of people are about to jump back in the housing market, so you need to be prepared and do it the Ramsey way. Contact Churchill Mortgage. Their Home Buyer Edge program lets you lock in your rate for 90 days, so if rates go up, you're protected. Or if rates go down, Churchill will drop yours automatically. And Churchill will back your offer with a $10,000 seller guarantee. So if your loan falls through, the seller still gets paid. That's how confident Churchill is. Plus, when you shop as a Churchill certified home buyer, it's stronger than pre-approval. It makes you look like a cash buyer, which makes your offer rise to the top. So don't let this moment pass you by. Go to ChurchillMortgage.com to get started today. That's ChurchillMortgage.com.
This is a paid advertisement. Home buyer edge and seller guarantee are available for qualifying borrowers and select loan types only and are not available in all states or locations. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Hey guys, Rachel Cruz here. And I've read study after study showing that your relationships, health, decision-making skills, kindness, and even sleep
can be better with gratitude. Plus, I've experienced this in my own life, which is why I'm so passionate about helping people find gratitude and contentment in their daily lives. One of the best ways to do this is through journaling. That's why I created the Contentment Journal. The Contentment Journal is a 90-day guided journal with thought-provoking daily prompts. Day by day, week by week, this journal will leave you feeling more thankful and hopeful. For the first 30 days, we'll focus on gratitude to recognize the blessings in your life. The next 30 days will focus on humility and becoming others-centered. And the last 30 days will focus on contentment and finding true, lasting happiness. You guys, contentment is a place where you can get to emotionally and spiritually, not financially. So go to the online store at RamseySolutions.com to get your copy of the Contentment Journal.
Hey, homeschool parents, you guys have so much on your plate. As both a parent and teacher, you're focused on making sure your teen knows all they need to succeed in the real world. But along with all their other courses, make sure they learn about money, too. Our homeschool curriculum, Foundations in Personal Finance, can help. It's a life-changing curriculum that'll totally transform how your teen thinks about money, and it's so easy to get started. You'll get everything you need to teach your teens real-life skills like how to save and spend wisely, how to pay cash for college, and how to stay out of debt. Look, this is too important to put off any longer. This is the money course you'll wish you had when you were in school. Check out Foundations in Personal Finance today. Go to RamseySolutions.com/homeschool to learn more. That's RamseySolutions.com/homeschool.
Up next, we have Bernadette in Tampa, Florida on the line. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi there. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Well, we are blessed beyond all measure. We have $800-ish house, and we have about $334,000 left on the mortgage. And we're both united in wanting to pay it off, yet we are differing in where we go for our refinance. We have both been students of Dave Ramsey, and I am very, very tickled with wanting to do a 15, but my husband, citing wanting to mitigate risk for the unforeseen future that he might lose his job, wishes to stick with a 30 in the event that we would have then a lower monthly payment.
Sure, just in case. What makes him think he's going to lose his job?
Right before Christmas, he lost one boss that was traumatizing and unseen enough, and then after Christmas, another boss was let go.
Oh, wow.
And so he works with computers, and 5 years ago, computer jobs and especially administrative computer geeks, no problem finding a job. It's not as comfortable now. According to him, it could take up to a year to find a job, and when he did, it might not necessarily be for the same price tag. So I hear him, and I respect him, and I understand he has handled our finances swimmingly for the last 15 years of our marriage when we combined our finances. And we have a budget. I'm sitting here looking at my budget. We have mapped out what a 3-month emergency fund would be and a 6-month emergency fund would be. And we have basically 2 years worth of emergency fund right now.
Oh, wow.
And so
okay.
We plan on putting a big chunk on our refinance. And then in between all of this, he's also saying, I want to go enjoy the Florida waterways. Let's go get some jet skis.
There it is.
Where are you from?
There
Your
it
accent is just like wonderful.
I can tell you maybe off the air.
Oh,
there we
my
go.
Gosh. Sounds like a conspiracy.